Miami's in so much turmoil right now that I feel like teams are just looking to fleece them. Waddle's a big trade target. Waddle's a guy that can immediately make a difference on your team. Green Bay and San Francisco, like you got to go for the guys that actually make a move. Like now with the Dolphins, they need to completely change it up. They tried this experiment with Tyreek Hill and Tua, Waddle, Otchain, good players, but nothing's giving. Jets are the same way. They tried this experiment with Brees Hall, Garrett, and Sauce. Brees is probably one of the hotter names on the trade market right now. Is he gonna go? Is he gonna stay?
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got Muller over here. Mike, what the fuck is on your head? Holy
So
shit, you are a full-on train
it's
conductor.
actually a reversible
Insanity.
hat too. I got it from my father's friend. Don't know where, but it is a train conducting hat. I think it's hilarious, and I think I need to wear it for the show. So my head's massive. It doesn't fit on. That's what she said. But maybe it's gonna give me a little good luck because of my spread mortals. I need a little change,
Yeah,
and this is gonna be the one right here.
I support it. I support it. I mean, you look absolutely unreal. Wait, you don't actually do you wear that when you're on the train?
I would get fired immediately.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if I would, but I'd get made fun of definitely. I'm like I already do, but probably to a bad extent.
Just for the listener's sake and mine, it's my question. What do you actually have to wear when you're actually on the train?
You cannot. I'll tell you what you cannot wear. You cannot have anything that can get snatched by any piece of metal. So a short sleeve shirt is fine. A jacket, a vest. I don't wear like a hard hat or anything. I can wear a Titleist hat if I want. Just making sure I am covered up. And I'm not going to get snagged by anything. I can't have gauges. So that's out of the picture. I really thought about it. Hoop earrings. This I had my time back in the day. But no, we do not. We have to be professional. I probably could wear this hat. I might get made fun of all day, but nothing I'm not used to. But yeah, very simple.
Not bad. Not bad. Well, Mike might have to hop on a train during this show, so we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this week. Let's start with Monday Night Football, Mike. Bad. Bad. Dude, see, the thing is, you know, before the game, oh, you're already out? Okay.
Hold on,
All
I'll
right.
be back.
All right. All right. Well, I'll just continue talking. Um, I don't understand how before the game, Jerry Jones comes out and he's like, "Oh, we have this great trade coming out tomorrow that nobody knows about. No insiders know about." Jerry Jones is sitting here like, "Oh yeah, we're ahead of all these other guys and they have no idea what we're going to do." And he comes out here, everyone's expecting like a big time deal, backdoor Miles Garrett, you know, backdoor Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, especially after that cryptic Max Crosby tweet after the Raiders loss. All like, I don't understand why he does this to us. Our whole lives, all we want is just a good season. We aren't asking for too much here, Mike. All we want is a half decent season, have some type of fun expectations. I don't know what else I have to do to get that. Um, Dallas Cowboys, we signed linebacker Logan Wilson. Not the worst thing. But if we're going to build this up like it's some huge trade, let's not act like we're getting Miles Garrett. Just tell us we're getting Logan Wilson last night. You know what I mean? Like, especially when we're going to go out there and basically look like the Lions of 2008 or 7, whenever they went 0-17. If we're going to put that performance on the field, let's not even do the trade. Let's not even do the trade. After the game, Brian Schottenheimer's talking about the inconsistencies that plague his team. Brother, it ain't inconsistency. It's the fact that your cornerbacks cannot see. Your cornerbacks literally cannot stay on their feet. Deron Bland had one of the worst games I've seen him play in a long, long while. Dak Prescott in that offense putting up 0 points going into halftime when you're loaded. You're supposed to be the best offense in the league, and we aren't able to put up more than 3 points. Come on. It's a fucking joke. And thank God the Sixers are playing well. Thank God Villanova's back. They looked very good last night. They have little to no expectations this year. Lost by, I think, 5. I'll take it. Team looked great. I'm just not used to seeing a Villanova team that can't make free throws and consistently drill 3-pointers, but that's okay. I can live with that. I can live with that because we don't have the expectations. The Dallas Cowboys, I cannot live with giving up a shit ton of points, getting run through like Bonnie Blue, and literally Dak Prescott in this offense just inability to score points in the first half last night. Are you able to talk now?
I am. This is what I'll
Yeah,
say about
like
the
I don't
game.
know. You give me your thoughts on this because I could go all day just in circles about this team.
Listen, I'm not gonna knock on the Dallas Cowboys offense like right away. Like I think there have maybe been 2 games, the Bears where CD Lamb went down, where they weren't really, moving the ball a lot. They had to adjust on the fly. This game, you're gonna have games like these. This is not gonna deter me from, knowing that I think this offense is still legit. And I hope that's the same for you because you should think that way.
I do. And that's why I'm so frustrated that we put up 0 because I know they're legit. I know they're better than what they did last night. The
Listen,
the main culprit for all of this, and I actually tweeted at the Dallas Police Department. Sorry to cut you off. I tweeted at the Dallas Police Department because someone has to be arrested every single week. We are being abused. We're being harassed by this Cowboys defense. The fact that as Cowboys fans should not have to. There should be a link that you could click when you sign up for the streaming services. Are you a Dallas Cowboys fan? And you should be allowed to click yes. And when the offense leaves the field, it should cut out. It should black out. You shouldn't have to watch. It's ridiculous.
yeah, that defense is so bad, and the fact that Deron Bland absolutely fleeced you guys and Travion Diggs or Trayvon Diggs, my God, Deron Bland. Listen, I know you were high on him. That dude is hot garbage. He had
Terrible.
one good year, got paid, was terrible. Marvin Harrison was making him do the nay nay in the end zone.
Yes.
I will, and that defense is a problem. It is a big problem, and they need to completely rebuild it. I'm sorry. They get rid of everyone. Get rid of everyone in the secondary. Okay, the D line, you got a couple of players. You just made that trade for that linebacker. Secondary, you got a clean slate. Get rid of them all. Some dumbass team like the Jets will take on the Deron Bland contract. Trayvon Diggs should be not even in the NFL. Send him to Canada. Okay, he's garbage. Let's go to the flip side of things real quick. The Cardinals defense is actually a pretty good unit. They play hard, they play well. I think their secondary has gotten much better over the years, giving Buda Baker a lot of help. And it's funny because when someone who can actually see over the O line and can throw the ball to you and knows who to target at all times, you can actually win and look like a functional team. Kyler Murray is not the answer. I've been saying it. He's not the answer. Jacoby Brissett looks 10 times better than Kyler Murray does while in the pocket throwing the ball. It's clear as day. Arizona failed Kyler, blah, 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 this and that. No, dude, he's not that good. He's just not that good. That is a guy, if you want to be mediocre and you want to be a middle of the pack or below average team every single year, go get Kyler Murray. He is available for trade. That's your guy. Marvin Harrison is. Did you see what his dad said? He has his mental capacity is just at its limit for watching the Cardinals offense. I don't blame him because they got a couple of good players, and Pete Singh, I mean, again, Lucas, cold take. He's trash. He's trash. Okay. Like you feed Marvin Harrison. Well, why is it so hard? Feed Marvin Harrison, feed Trey McBride. I don't know. That's what I think. Kyler stinks. Go shout out Jacoby Brissett.
Absolutely, and they should ride with Jacoby Brissett. I think
No question.
I think Troy Aikman said on the broadcast last night that he wouldn't be surprised if they continued with him. They look fantastic. It's the first game that I think the offense, the passing offense has actually been impressive to watch. Granted, they're playing the Cowboys, so we all have to take that with a grain of salt there. I've said that for a number of weeks now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals come out next week, and I don't know who they play, but I'm assuming the defense is going to be better than Dallas. And we could sit here and be like Jacoby Brissett. Maybe he shouldn't play. Maybe they do look better with Kyler. Um, but yeah, no, I agree with you. Kyler Murray is certainly not the answer. Um, all right, let's look at some other games from Sunday. I do want to give a shout out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys piss on yourselves. You throw up on yourselves. You're disgusting. Every single tailgate's an absolute mess. But you guys won the bye week. You did. You absolutely did. Between the trades, between the losses around the league, the Eagles, I mean, it's hard to say they're not the top dog right now. They're the team that's winning consistently. Yes, they have issues, I would say, out of the locker room between everyone thinks that AJ Brown's a drama queen. Jalen Hurts can't play football. Hand up. I've said it on here multiple times. Both those comments. But the Eagles just continue to win, and they got Howie Roseman. It's a very tough combo. You look at four Super Bowl favorites all lost this weekend. You got the Packers, who were the Week 1 Super Bowl champions. The Indianapolis Colts, who that was a tough look for them this week. You got the Chiefs in a tough one against the Bills, but now the Chiefs are on the outs in the AFC. And then you got the Lions. I mean, you texted, I don't know at what point. I was getting a new phone this weekend, and it took forever for me to get this thing uploaded. Thing's amazing. I mean, it charges. That's number one. My other phone didn't charge, which was a serious problem. But I don't know when you texted that it would be like, oh, the Vikings, it would be nice if you had a guy named Sam Darnold. I don't know when you sent that, but the Lions lost to the Vikings. But yeah, I don't know where you want to start here, but the Eagles, it's hard for me to sit here and say they're not the top dog.
I mean, yeah, I got to agree with you on the win on the bye week.
Yeah.
Listen, Michael Carter II was a player for the Jets, and he was very good in the slot. He's a slot cornerback, and he was like the unsung hero of that defense. Behind DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, great player. My question is how they're missing an X receiver. They're missing a guy on the perimeter. Will they throw Michael Carter II out there? I don't know. I don't think he kind of took a step back this year in the slot. I don't think he's going to excel on the perimeter. I think as a slot cornerback, I think he will do well in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Phillips is a very, very intriguing trade to me because he, when healthy, is one of the better DNs in the league. I mean, a lot of people don't really know how he plays. They know of the name, but he's a game wrecker. He is a sack machine, great off the edge, but it's his health at the end of the day. Another problem with the Miami Dolphins players. Can he stay healthy? He had a serious injury last year, but that's a very big come up for the Eagles. And the way I look at it for them is it's not like how they wanted Bryce Huff to be is kind of what Jalen Phillips is going to fill like and be the guy that what they expected Bryce Huff to be. So they're going to use him in a lot of passing down situations. I don't think they're going to use him much in the run. You got guys like Nolan Smith out there. Like he's going to be a rotational player, but I think they gave a 3rd round pick. I think it's worth it. I mean, he's going to be due a contract soon. Kind of a rental for the rest of the year, and Howie's very good at using those financial abilities for 1 year rentals just to get a Super Bowl. Howie's the king of that. I thought they made 2 excellent trades. Michael Carter one, we'll see, but yeah, I mean, again, we talk about Philly every freaking week, and it's the same thing. They just got to follow the formula that works, and don't change. Follow what makes you win. It's very simple for them. Let AJ Brown be a diva. Jalen Hurts. Okay, we talk about it so many times. Like it's just like we know what to expect. Like if he doesn't throw the ball, Saquon, it's going to get his yardage, but he's going to have to throw the ball because the O-line's not as good as much. So they have to be creative, but they need to find what ways to get Saquon involved. You get him involved, you win. Now, I guess where we can go from here, we could talk the Kansas City Bills game or Kansas City Buffalo game.
They're the Bills, yeah.
Yeah, the Bills, Jesus. I mean, hey, listen, we've seen this year in and year out. Like Buffalo in the regular season, like I'm not taking much away from this game. I actually give Kansas City credit because they were down a little bit, fought back, and lost obviously in the end. But in Buffalo, It's a tough game. Buffalo off a bye, give them credit after a bye week. Getting Kansas City first matchup. It's not easy, but they took care of business. I didn't really take much from this game. Everyone's kind of writing off Kansas City. Listen, they're still Kansas City at the end of the day. You got to respect them. You got to respect Mahomes coming out and just doing what he's got to do. I would like to see Worthy get involved a little bit more. I think he's kind of fallen off ever since Rashid's gotten back, and I know that's his number one target. But got to find ways, Andy. You got to find ways. Keep the creativeness in the offense, and I don't see it. I'm not sweating on Kansas City. Buffalo, I'm not sweating on them either, but you're seeing a lot of ups and downs with them. But yeah, I mean, I'm not taking much away from this game. The other games, the Lions are going to lose here and there. They always do this. You got to give Kevin O'Connell credit, the defense credit. I thought JJ played well. Who else? Green Bay. Hold on. If you have anything to say, but Green Bay frauds,
Yeah,
big time frauds.
Yeah, I want to get into that division actually. Green Bay Packers, the Lions, the Vikings. Vikings sit on 4-4. Detroit's 5-3. The Packers are 5-2. Jordan Love is the most, I think we said it in the group chat with Lucas. He's the most like he's very good, but he also sucks. I don't know how to say it, but he's just like he sucks, but he throws these ducks up that end up being great catches. I don't know what I'm watching half the time because it looks like he looks like Kyler Murray out there a lot of times, the way he throws the ball.
Yeah, I think
It just
he's
works out for him. I don't get
yeah.
it. I don't
Yeah.
get it. But Micah Parsons calling him out's hilarious. Micah already being a locker room cancer like he was in Dallas. This is why we
Mm,
got rid of him.
mm. And you know what? If you want to go back to who, I don't know who was talking about that about with, but if you want to go like revisit that trade, I mean, they're the Cowboys and Packers are almost in the same boat. Like, yes, the Packers have a better record, and the Cowboys, they should have got a win last night, but it didn't make that much of a difference. I feel like for the Cowboys, like
No.
is Micah having Micah on your team? Is it really getting you two more wins and you're 5-2? Are you tying Green Bay at that point? I mean, it just had to happen. I mean, it was good. It was necessary. And now as you look back at it,
Yeah, I mean, Mike, look at the Dallas defense right now, and then look at Green Bay's defense. Is Micah Parsons making that big a difference on that Green Bay defense? Would he have made that big a difference on the Dallas Cowboys defense? Probably not. Either way, I don't. I think the Micah Parsons trade is a wash. I think Green Bay just handed us two first round picks in Damone Clark, who's been great, uh, to be 5-2-1, and they're going to be a first round exit. I still don't think they win the division.
no, the
The Lions or the Vikings will end up winning that division, and we're going to be sitting here in February being like Green Bay actually got fleeced in that trade. Green Bay is they're the biggest frauds going into next year. Is Jordan Love the guy? We're going to be sitting here wondering all those things when Detroit is getting that 4 seed or 3 seed, and we're watching the Green Bay Packers get bounced by Tampa Bay and Baker in Tampa Bay first round, probably by 20 because they're not going to be able to play. Micah Parsons is going to have another game where he has 0 sacks. I'm ready. I cannot wait to come back to this clip. Can't wait. I'll see
November
everyone.
4th. November 4th. Remember that. That is the day.
Like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
I think Jordan Love, listen, he's a top 15 quarterback. I don't see him jumping in the top 10 anytime soon, especially this year. But they're kind of on the San Francisco trend right now. They're kind of banged up. They're losing a lot of guys. When you lose Jaden Reed, yeah, it makes a little bit of a difference. Now you lose Tucker Kraft. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Luke Musgrave's got to come in, tried his best to replicate what Tucker Kraft has been doing. Matthew Golden, you selected him, and he really hasn't been doing diddly squat. Josh Jacobs, listen, they got to make it. That's a team, they made a move for Micah. If you want to win, in that type of division, you got to make a move for a guy like, Devon Achane or someone. Even though you have Josh Jacobs, you got to make some type of move, especially, again, receiving core. We've talked about it before, but you can't bank on Jaden Reed coming back healthy and throwing up the numbers he did 2 years ago when Philly and Green Bay was playing in Brazil. He had a great year, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sold on them. When you lose to the Browns and you lose to the now over 500 Panthers, like Listen, I know we love the Panthers, but like Green Bay at home, come on now. Really? You're 7.5 point favorites. You got to win that game. That's a winnable game. The Carolina's defense ain't giving you that many problems. Apparently they did.
I
They
mean,
held
the
in there,
Carolina,
what, 16 points, 13 points?
Mike, everyone wanted to talk shit on me when I said Carolina was going to win the division. They still might not win the division, right? They're 5-4, but they've covered +7 the last 5 games.
Yeah,
Let's not
they've
act like it's a
clearly
bad.
gotten better. They were
They're
clearly
way
getting
better.
better. Yeah, from last year, me and you knew this team was going to be a lot better. Bryce Young is going to actually show who he is. He's leading a Carolina's Panthers team to, they have 5 wins right now. They are over 500. So I give them a lot of credit. I give Canales a lot of credit too. He was on the hot seat after the first year. But yeah, I mean, good. It's a great win. That's a hell of a win from them.
Awesome win. All right, let's move on here. I have a question. I have a question. So Miami Dolphins are in the shitter. They're trying to get rid of everybody.
Good.
Tua Tagovailoa, his time I think is done in Miami. It's going to be Quinn Ewers' time next year. Brock Purdy out in the 49ers country would look great in a Miami uniform. Is there a world where, the 49ers, do they make a move where they bring in Tua, who could be very good out there, warm weather, good parts that he could play with, get him away from McDaniel, bring Purdy in to work with McDaniel? What are your thoughts on that? Because I saw a lot of Dolphins and 49ers fans clamoring about it on Twitter.
I mean, if you want to take on the injury history, by all means. I mean, it's not, and his contract, you're going to take over his contract too. That Chris Greer, who, just mutually parted ways with the Dolphins, gave him. I just don't see it. I don't see that happening. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, Brock has given you success, Again, it's a very systematic offense. So you're going to have, you got Mac Jones back there right now. And he's, I think he's what, like 2-2, something like that, 3-2. He hasn't been bad, but like if I don't know, I think Tua is a lot more injury prone, and you got to look at Tua in a way where he's made the playoffs and he hasn't played in the playoffs. Like, do you want to deal with that? Do you want to hold yourself back and have that happen? They're essentially the same player. If someone could just throw the ball and be accurate in that system, you're gonna be fine. I think they selected Brock late. He's kind of homegrown right now. I'd give him a contract. I would. I don't think his injury history is near as close as what Tua's injury history is. So I just kind of think it's smoke and mirrors, in my opinion. I mean, Miami's in so much turmoil right now that I feel like teams are just looking to fleece them. Waddle's a big trade target. Waddle's a guy that, can immediately make a difference on your team, Green Bay and San Francisco. Like, you got to go for the guys that actually make a move. Like, now with the Dolphins, they need to completely change it up. They tried this experiment with Tyreek Hill and Tua, Waddle, Otchain, good players, but nothing's giving. Jets are the same way. They tried this experiment with Brees Hall, Garrett, and Sauce. Brees is probably one of the hotter names on the trade market right now. Is he gonna go? Is he gonna stay?
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I would be shocked if he didn't go, but I wouldn't be shocked if he stayed either. Anyways, like, it really just depends on what they want. I think in Miami, the situation they're in, they need to just start moving a lot of pieces. They need to rebuild. They tried, it didn't work. A new regime's going to come in. They're not going to stick with Tua. They can. And wherever Tua goes, I mean, you got to wish him well because he's one of those. He's a likable guy. He's a likable quarterback in this league. Ever since he threw up the gang signs, like, you kind of had a feel for him. So it's a problem it's a big problem for Miami right now. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That's a strange. You said that's on Twitter. It's a big rumor right now.
Not really a rumor, just their fans were going back and forth about it last night. I was not watching the Cowboys game very intently. I was deep in the Twitter sphere, so I came across that and I deep dove that one for quite some time. Interesting takes in those threads. Last game I want to get into, and then if you have anything else you want to get into here, the Baltimore Ravens. Now I know they didn't have the greatest opponent this week. We all can admit that. The Dolphins suck. We just talked about it, how they have to rebuild. But Lamar coming back and playing very well, basically torching that Miami defense. Can the Ravens get into the playoffs and make some noise and, still grab a high seed, or do you think it's too little too late? Do you think it's just, a few games too far behind for them?
I mean, listen, Lamar's back now. I think that having Miami to play right off the bat after an injury was necessary. It was good for them. They're not playing teams like Detroit, the Philly, the Eagles, Kansas City. It's never too late. We got about there's probably about 9 more games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. If it was like 5, I'd probably say no. But
I
listen,
think 8 games. 8 games. We're in week 9.
Yeah. Okay. Like 8 games, 9 games. I think they still have a chance to at least grab a wild card spot. If you're looking at how the standings are right now, you probably have Jacksonville having one of those wild card spots. You're probably going to have either Denver or the Chargers having one of those wild card spots.
So I have it up right now.
The Patriots are another
Colts,
team.
Yeah, the Colts, Patriots, and Broncos are all at the top of the AFC at 7-2. Then you have Pittsburgh in the 4 seed because they're ahead in the AFC North, 5-3. Then you got the Bills, Chargers, Jacksonville, 6-2, 6-3, 5-3, and then the Chiefs are on the outs at 5-4. But I would have to imagine the Chiefs getting in over the Jags. If you put those 2 teams next to each other, I know Jacksonville's been very good, but I would have to imagine if it comes down to the wire in those last couple of weeks, if there was a team to fold, it would be Jacksonville before it's Kansas City. But yeah, I think the AFC, you're just going through it. Denver, obviously, I think is going to get in there. I think they're on a roll. You've been saying it for a couple of weeks now that they just had a catapult win. They had to get one on the board, and then they're going to explode, and that's exactly what's happened. The Chargers look very good. Justin Herbert, as long as his guys stay healthy and his defense plays well, he's probably a top 5, 6 quarterback in the league right now. I would have to imagine he's going to get them in. We could be seeing a 3-team playoff berth from the AFC West.
Yeah. And, I think, again, ever since the DT honorary mention in Ring of Honor, I should have took Denver last week. I had a feeling, but yeah, I think they're going to keep. You said they're 7-2 right now.
7-2.
7-2. Okay, so right now it's them and the Colts who are 7-2,
and the Patriots.
And the Patriots. Yeah. Back to the Ravens real quick. They have a chance. So now what? They are 2-5, I believe.
3-5. But that's what I mean. They're 3-5,
yeah.
so they're only 2 games
absolutely.
back.
Yeah, they definitely have a shot. They have a shot to win the division now because Pittsburgh just won. So I think they have 5 wins.
They're 5-3, but that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, definitely, 100%.
2 games at this point in the season it's a lot to make up. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're going week to week, you're only playing. It's not like in the NBA where you could go 1 week and go 3-0, and the other team goes 0-3, and all of a sudden it's a tie ball game, and we're rolling head to head here. Like, it's a grind for the Baltimore Ravens now because the Kansas City Chiefs, Jacksonville Chargers, and the Steelers, they're probably going to be favored to win their games more than they're not favored.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an uphill battle for Baltimore, and they're the one thing that's plagued them this year is injuries. So I know they got a bunch of their guys back this week, but can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy?
I think what's interesting about Baltimore, and I feel like we see this usually every single year, it's divisional matchups. And towards the end of the year, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, I don't even think they've played yet. They're going to probably play week 18, week 17. They're probably going to play week 14. You're looking at Pittsburgh as the first team in the AFC North. Again, I'm not a big believer in them. They just had a very good game against the Colts. It was a coin flip. That honestly, I told Luke Dobb that game's a coin flip. It can go either way. The Colts were smacking the Steelers around the last 2 years, even one with AR, crazy enough. That was a coin flip. That spread was funky. I did take the Colts, but I was leaning Pittsburgh. But those divisional matchups are going to be key. If they end up tied, and they have the tiebreaker, I think the Ravens can definitely jump them on it, especially for the division. They just got to take care of business. They got to take care of business in the division, and I honestly think that is their one chance to actually make the playoffs. I don't even know if the wild card's their biggest chance. I think the division is, because you're gonna play Pittsburgh twice. You're going to play Cincy again. You're going to play the Browns again. All winnable games. You take care of what you have to do in the division. I can 100% see them winning again in the playoff spot. 100%.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. Winning the division is probably their best bet. You
No
look at
doubt.
Chargers, Jags, and Chiefs, they're all on 6 wins or 5 wins. You'd have to think they get to 10 wins. And Baltimore sitting on 3, they would have to win 7 of their last, what do we say? They have 9 games left, 8 games left. Yeah, they would have to go basically perfect the rest of the year. That's going to be very tough to do, especially in their division. So, and I think they play the Steelers 2 times in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a tough stretch of games there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I know we're going to end up talking about this probably on a weekly basis with them, especially if some results start going their way. But one thing I want to also look at, I'm looking at the standings, and it's such a clear line between good teams and bad teams. You get out of that playoff picture in the AFC, and you got the Texans, the Bengals, Raiders, Browns, Dolphins, Jets, Titans, and then Baltimore Ravens are in that 10 spot right there. But all those teams, if you lined me up with them, my team up with them, if you line the Eagles up with them each week, you're never once taking those teams in 100 meetings, no matter who's on the field for the Eagles. And it's just crazy because you and I have talked about this a couple times since probably week 2 or 3. The gap between great teams and bad teams is so wide now. There's not so many good teams. It feels like there's a lot of really good teams and really bad teams.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm one of them, the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. My team just happens to score more points than you guys.
Yeah, even the Saints, I believed in Tyler Shuck, and I'm like, all right, he'll cover 14.5. Nope. Stafford just looking good. Yeah, bad pick.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot what our picks were going into Sunday. I was so busy this weekend. I saw...
It was a bad week for me in general.
Yeah,
spread, I think I had 4 spread wins. I took a lot of favorites. Favorites last week went 8-2. I'm like, I hate that I'm taking these many favorites. And yeah, it showed. Carolina, Minnesota, who else? I forget who else that was a crazy cover. I don't know, but the Niners were my pick. And then I saw Utah. I'm like, that was the one I saw. I'm like, the Niners got to win this. But
that was such an easy pick.
It was.
Everyone and their mother knew they were going to win that game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Vegas fumbled that one. That was a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
And Seattle. Hold on a minute. We need to talk about Seattle.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about Seattle.
They are, I think I got to throw them as a top 3 team in the NFC right now. They're incredible. The players, they hustle the shit out of everyone on defense. Sam Darnold, again, looking elite as usual. JSN is probably the best receiver in the league. I tried to find the clip of me saying it, could not find it. I think I posted it earlier this year. He's been unreal. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet back there, both 2 RB1, RB2. They look incredible. They look awesome. Everything is fluid with that team. Absolutely spanked the Commanders. Great call on them because they are nowhere as close as good they were last year. But man, Jaden Daniels, that hurts. That hurt watching it. And I feel so badly for him. Luckily, it wasn't his throwing arm. But God, Dan Quinn, why do you have him in? There's 6 minutes left in the
always
going
to be listen, I don't care what anyone says. The Redskins will always be the Redskins. They're always going to mess that up. And they will find a way to fumble it. Last year was the biggest fluke in franchise history getting to that NFC Championship game. They had no right being in that thing. The fact that they were allowed to even show up to the link is wild to me. They never had a chance. They should have stayed home, saved money on the airfare. Washington, this just set you guys back 10 years. You guys are done. It's official. You just drafted another RG3. Good luck with the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years. You thought you had your guy. You don't have your guy.
Wave the white flag. Dude, you're down 38-7. You're not winning this game. Seattle dominated you, but fucked you. Sorry, cut that out. But it was an abomination. Dude, wave the white flag. You played Mariota so much this year. You might as well put him back in and save Jaden Daniels. There's just, coaching decisions like that makes me question why these guys have jobs. Yes, football is a very hard job to coach. It's one of the toughest sports to coach in all of sports. But like in those situations, wave the white flag. No miracle is happening. I know you're at home, but there's 6 minutes left. They get one first down. That's 2 to 3 minutes burn off the clock. Bro, it's over. The game is over. Now you're looking at Jaden Daniels' arm at a 90-degree angle, but this way, not good, not like this, but like this. Terrible, terrible. Boom, boom. It's done. It's over. Like, that's such a bad injury. And again, all I got to say is luckily it happened to his non-throwing arm, but still, man, it's your all your playoff aspirations are out the window. Mariota ain't taking you there. You're now 3-6. Terry McLaurin still hasn't played a game, I don't believe. It's not looking good for them. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No.
They're also going to be without Frankie Louvu in the next. I think the only one game he got suspended for. I mean,
Jet legend.
Yeah. I mean, he's just going to continue to be suspended. This is a good one. The Steelers officially signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling to their practice squad. Super Bowl back on, Mike.
Nice, Con. Very nice, Con. Well done. I love that move for you. Definitely makes you a Super Bowl contender when you sign, journeyman Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Fucking bozo. I mean, it's better than me, but yeah, that's terrible.
Wait,
just typical.
Let's get into the mortals here. I came across something. It was 1 year since I made the Super Bowl bet last year, which was the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. My God, was that bad?
Never.
Bad.
Yeah, you can't. Bad. You can't.
But they're such frauds. Point, so I do want to announce this year's Super Bowl pick. Should we do the mortals and then do that?
Yeah. No. I want you to mention it first. I'm intrigued.
Super Bowl pick first.
Can I take a guess? Can I have 3 guesses?
2 guesses.
All right. Philly?
No.
Tampa Bay?
No.
All right. Who is it?
All right. So when I was looking at this, because you also got to think about value. Kansas City's still in first place somehow. You got the Bills, you got the Eagles, you got the Lions, Rams, Packers. Everyone knows that those teams are going to be there. Everyone's coming out of this last week thinking, man, this team, I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're fake. They have one of the best O-lines in the league. You got a quarterback who's revived. He looks good again. I'm taking the Colts, Mike.
Wow. I love it.
Plus 1,300. Give me the Colts. This team has flown way, way under the radar. The fact that we are not talking about the Colts more, and I know we've been talking about the Colts quite a bit, and because they continue to win. They're 7-2, top of the AFC. The O-line and D-line have been incredibly elite this year. Daniel Jones is being able to play football for the first time in his NFL life because in New York, he had no line. He was scrambling. He had to create plays out of thin air. He was doing what Caleb Williams would love to do in New York. In Indianapolis, Daniel Jones can be calm. He can be sophisticated in the pocket. I love what I'm seeing from that team. I feel like every single time that he snaps the ball, they're going to get 5 to 10 yards every play. Jonathan Taylor's having an elite season, probably one of his best seasons that he's had. He's probably going to be all pro. He should be if we're going to consider running backs for MVP last year, we should be considering him this year. That defense has been lights out. I mean, they're 7-2, Mike. They're 7-2, top of the AFC. I'm taking the Colts. I really like that pick. They're going to make the playoffs. At this point, it's set. They're making the playoffs. It would take a catastrophic collapse like the Eagles did 2 years ago for this team to not make the playoffs. Do I see them being the 1 seed? No. That's the one thing I do want to get out there. I do not see them being the 1 seed. I see them having to win this championship on the road. But I still love them to get to the Super Bowl. And if they're playing in Philadelphia, you can bet your ass on the Colts blue.
They would, bro. They win that game. Danny Dimes knows Philly. He's played there.
Revenge tour.
Yeah, I like a revenge tour. Yeah, I agree. Good pick. I like that pick. Because people, they've gotten a lot of hype this offseason, or not this offseason, just during the regular season. But it was more of like a wait and see, But a lot of casuals are going to forget about them. That's the Colts. Danny Dimes is still there. Jonathan Taylor's not that good. Like they're an elite bunch. They really are. And it's not like their receiving core. they got players, man. It's so very well balanced where you got your physical catcher in Pittman, good routes, good hands. You got your speedy little slot guy in Josh Downs, gonna make separation between him and the cornerback. Alec Pierce, your deep threat guy. I think he's a top guy right now when it comes. I gotta give Luke a lot of credit because he's been saying his name a lot, and I'm like, I don't know, Luke. Yeah, I don't really see it, but when you have a quarterback throwing you a ball who actually can, man, you can really see the potential of these guys. Tyler Warren, security blanket. Jonathan Taylor, elite. Like, they got a loaded weapons group. They really do. And people are starting to finally realize how good these guys can be. It's kind of like a Bear situation. A lot of mouths to feed, but hey, Danny Dimes is getting it done. He's finding ways to feed these guys. And yeah, I mean, they are looking up. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that pick. Did you want to do yours this week? You don't have to.
What,
Do you have a Super Bowl pick?
No,
bring it next week. Next week. I want you to really look at it.
Sure.
But no, let's get into the mortals here. 1-1 for both of us. So I stay ahead. We just move forward. No, so the guests I put on probation last week, I don't know if we all saw that. They've been god awful. Too many 0-3 weeks for my liking out of the guests. You have the world's your oyster as the guest. You literally had no one talk shit to you, and you're going 0-3 for like the fourth time this year. Yeah, we're not doing that. You got put on probation.
Who was it?
Let me pull it up. Oh, it was Luke.
Was it Lucas again?
Lucas. He went 0-3. Yeah, he got them on probation.
Tough week. Yeah, it was tough.
So they'll be back this week. We'll have those out with the show when it comes out, so you'll be able to see it here.
Probation, bro. I forgot about that. I was on probation like 3 times last year.
It was bad last year. When I go back and look at that, you had 1 win through the first 8 weeks.
Yeah, that was awful. That was so bad. TikTok guys were fucking fading me, winning them thousands of dollars. Yo, I'll say this. I only watched like a couple of games because I was working, but the one I actually watched was the Jaguars and the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think it was like 6-9 going into the third. I'm like, oh my God. And Brock Bowers exploded for 3 touchdowns. Oh, he went insane. But yeah, went to overtime, got me the win. Saints, bad pick. Yeah, hand up. That's a bad pick.
Yeah, like we said, the 49ers was free. And last night I had the Dallas and Arizona over. I believe it was 59.5 or something like that. I thought that thing was going to be a shootout, and it just
same.
We came up way short. So 1-1 on the week. Road teams actually went 8-4 last week, straight up. The 4 losers all entered as 7-point favorites. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
+point favorites, and they all lost.
Yeah.
So
weird.
All right. Let's get into the mortals here. I'm up first. I have my over. I do have my over-under. But let's start off with a spread. A lot of division matchups this week, which is always nerve-wracking. But I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at -2.5 at home against New England. I think it's a battle between the 2 of the second place teams in their respective conferences. I think Baker Mayfield, obviously MVP candidate, been looking great. That team has been on fire this year. I think this is really New England's first big test. They've had the easiest schedule in the league leading up to this point in the season. So they're 7-2, but is it because of the schedule, or is it because they're really good? I do think it's because they're really good, but I'm going to ride with the other narrative this week. I'm taking the Buccaneers -2.5. You got yours?
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go back to what I was saying before, and, I should have picked them last week. I did in my spread pools, not my mortals, but I'm going to keep riding this train until they make me lose. Give me Denver. Give me Denver on Thursday. I'm going to take a Thursday night game. I think it's my second one. I'm taking the 9.5. I think that in Denver, that defense, very good. A lot of points. Listen, that's a lot of points. I think a lot of people take the dog their division game, but I'm gonna fade that narrative. I'm gonna take them because they've been on a roll. Brock is back. I think he'll get a little bit of love, but I think Denver. I think they really are gonna bring it to the Raiders. I really do. Give me them -9.5.
Yeah, I like that. And a little tidbit here. Jerry Jones, after last night's loss, he was saying that there's one trade that he still could make that would be a huge trade. And now we all know that that could be smoke. His version of huge is very different from all of ours, but there's been a lot of chatter that Max Crosby could be becoming a Dallas Cowboy. So if that occurs, that 9.5 is going to look real tasty coming into that game. Uh,
Hmm.
all right, into the over unders. I think this is criminally low for the game that is going to be played, especially in the warm weather of Carolina. I'm taking the over in the Carolina and New Orleans game at 39.5, divisional game. Both teams kind of need to get something going here. I'm not sure. I think Kellen Moore wants to win, but the Saints fans would rather than lose. I think this is a game that he comes out to get the spirits up. They're going to put up maybe 24, and I think Bryce Young's going to show out this week against a divisional opponent. You know, get more than just a game over 500, put up 30, 40 points on this shitty New Orleans team.
There you go. Yeah, I like that actually. That is a very low spread as I'm looking at it. Saints defense, can give them a problem, but you got to ride with Carolina after what they just showed. 16 points, but it's really just the Saints. I just went through it, but I'm going to take the under. I'm going to go back on the under train here. Overs have been hit recently. We're going to switch it up. Got to stay balanced. I'm going to take the under in the Patriots Bucks game. Tampa Bay's coming off a bye week. They're still a little banged up. Emeka Egbuka is still, is the number one guy. I just feel like the Patriots, they've been so hot recently, and they're kind of due for a dud in a way. Not really a dud, but getting a little stumped by the defense. Vita Vea, interior defensive line. They're going to lose Keyshawn Boot for probably the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to take the under here. It's a lot of points, 48.5. Minus 118 over the minus 104 for the over. I'm going to take that favorite or that heavily favored one. Take the under 48.5. I think that's a winner.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think we're both on the same page there with the Patriots. They've just been really good so far, and they haven't played someone like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that they get stopped this week. That's not saying they're a bad football team. It's just this is what happens when you run into a team like Tampa. All right, money line parlay. Swinging it back to you because you've been red hot with these.
Yeah, you know what? It's funky because you never know what you're going to get with this San Francisco team. But I'm going to take LA. I'm going to take LA because San Francisco gave them a little bit of trouble last time they played. I think they covered the 5.5. They did lose, but I don't know. The Rams are just that good. Not having Fred Warner there, like that is a huge, huge gap in that defense that they're missing. A big piece. So I'm going to take LA. Even without Puka, I don't know if he does play or not. They've been on a roll, man. Stafford looks amazing. Devontae Adams is like prime Devontae Green Bay Packers Adams. Yeah, the LA is minus 205. I'm going to roll with that one in San Francisco.
Yep, I like it. Now there's going to be a lot of people that think that this is another spite bet because my spite bets have been hitting massively. I'm going to be taking the Philadelphia Eagles Monday Night Football in Green Bay. I think Philadelphia puts the nail in the coffin, hands Micah Parsons another L on his resume from the nice people of Philadelphia. Philly's the underdog there at plus 116, so it boosts our odds a little bit more. And we'll see what it is once the guests give us their pick. But I really like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's another criminal line this week. I think Philadelphia has been one of, if not the best team, week in and week out, no matter what their drama is. And they're going up against a Green Bay team who's literally on the ropes. I think they suck. I think they're the fakest Super Bowl champions after week one that we've ever seen. So, yeah, give me the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dude, that line is real sketchy.
Super sketchy. But
That's
I'm riding with Jalen Hurts. Roll Tide.
are you falling for the trap?
What trap?
You think that's I see that game.
I think it's a trap.
Screams trap game for
I
birds.
think it's a trap if you take the Green Bay Packers minus 2.5.
Oh, you see, I think opposite. I just think it's such a trap game. The fact that if the Eagles were favored, I'm putting money on them. Like I'm taking them too. But man, to have them as an underdog off a bye,
Listen, I'm hearing great things out of the Philadelphia camp.
that's all you hear is great things, and then they lose. Then you hear bad things. and it
No,
goes
I
back
mean,
and forth.
dude, the Sixers only have one loss. The Flyers are flying. What more could you ask for? The Union advanced in the playoffs. Philadelphia, the only great things are coming out of Philadelphia. Will Smith.
Nice. Yeah. One of the greatest scenes we've ever seen in a thing that nobody watches. Love
Yeah.
it.
Oh shit. All right.
Who's the guest this week? Are we reaching out to someone different? Lucas is on probation.
Yeah, Lucas is done. He's done.
All right, Lucas is done. All right, deal.
Lucas, by the way, stop getting so mad about Caleb Williams and the Bears. They suck. They suck. Come join me and I can show you how to just, be an accepting fan. Join Mike, be an accepting fan. Like, listen, you have great players, great players. Just doesn't work, you know? Maybe football is not for us. Maybe we're not built to be fans of football. Maybe if we stop being fans, they will be good. And then you come back after they win, be a bandwagon. I don't know. Try that. Kidding, 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 kidding. All right, Mike, let's get out of here because I feel like a text is going to come from Lucas after that one.
It is. Well done. Great. Hey, great golf video, by the way. Appreciate everyone reaching out for that. Good jobs, Colin. Well done. Yeah, we got a lot of feedback, man. I was looking at man, we got a lot of good stuff coming. So very good. Love where we're headed. Sucks golf season is coming to an end, but
No, it's not.
Next year,
Started, dude. Fall golf just started.
next year, I'll tell you what, when it's hot out, man, it's going to be a great time for B Team Golf. It really is. I cannot wait.
Yep. B Team Golf League getting announced next week.
Let's go, baby.
Subscribe, and we will see you later.
Goodbye, people. Well done. Like and subscribe.